when it comes to role-playing in games, I tend to not role-play at all, actually. Thinking back to all of the RPGs I've played in my life that I felt like I could do some actual roleplay have been from Bethesda, oddly enough. I think a big part of it is the character creation and the voiceless actor aspect. I'm not tied down to a character with an already established history, or personality traits that I have no control over. I can become anyone that I want, go where I want to, and, for the most part, do what I want. Bethesda has done an excellent job setting up these massive playgrounds to explore, without feeling like we're being forced to follow their main campaigns from the get-go, or ever, really. Now, why I haven't really delved into the realm of roleplay is beyond me. I mean, it's possible that I wasn't aware that I could approach a game this way, or that I was just focused on playing through it for the experience. You know, because it looked cool and had all of this player agency and stuff. But after having discovered the endless possibilities and the amount of fun that I could potentially have by actually role-playing in an RPG, has truly caught my interest. I really want to give this a shot, and I think Starfield is actually going to give me that opportunity. I'm still looking for inspiration, so I'd love to hear what your roleplay plans are for Starfield, and how you're going to ultimately make these decisions. Let me know. Alright, let's get into it.
Hey, come on. Okay, take it easy. You were out cold. No physical damage. Mentally, the jury's still out.
I think one of the most important roleplay aspects I'm currently working on is a solid backstory. Now, this might be a bit hard to fully flesh out, especially when I'm not entirely familiar with the world that Bethesda is building here. I have very little understanding of the tech, the history of mankind, politics, economy, the limitations and possibilities of the game, and so on. The only origin I know about my character so far is that at one point they were hired by the Interstellar Mining Corporation, Argos Extractors, and there was an incident that rendered us unconscious. So the question is, why would my character choose to get a job as a miner? Financial desperation? Parents forced them to get a job? They're undercover? Fresh start? They just enjoy mining? Whatever the reason is, there has to be one. Now thankfully Starfield is giving us some guidance when it comes to a basic background. But how some of these are going to directly correlate to you working for a mining corporation, I have no idea. How does one go from diplomat to miner? I mean, maybe the backgrounds are what you did on Earth, and that all had to change when you were forced to leave because of the conditions. I don't know. Anyway, I am definitely leaning towards the bounty hunter background, as I've always wanted to live out my fantasy by playing as a Boba Fett type character in a video game. Now on a side note, I have this strong feeling that the bounty hunter smuggler role is going to be Skyrim's equivalent of the sneaky archer thief. Everyone is going to do it at least once. I guarantee it. So with all that said, my backstory is going to be important. It's what's going to determine my motivations, intentions, morality, choices, basically the groundwork of my entire Starfield role-playing experience. Without knowing a good chunk of details of the lore, it's going to be hard to come up with something specific. It might have to be something vague, something like, I was a smuggler, went to jail, did time, and then had to do service hours to clean my record. And then I got into an accident. That's all I got. Moving on. Second one on my list is putting high value on life. Now in Bethesda games, we tend to take dying for granted, as well as the lives of the NPCs. As long as we hit that quick save, we are golden. We're able to test out and do some of the most unthinkable and ridiculous things without any real consequences. Now, I'm a big fan of permadeath games. I really enjoy feeling like I need to thoroughly weigh my options before making any decisions, especially when the wrong decision can cost me all of my progress in the game, forcing me to start from scratch. There's a feeling of excitement that I can't quite explain unless you've played a game on permadeath settings yourself. Now, I am pretty sure that Starfield isn't going to have a permadeath setting in their standard edition, and to be frank, I probably wouldn't turn it on if it was available. For a game of this scope, having to start all over again could become a little arduous. So instead of permanently dying, I've been trying to come up with a consequence for dying. I saw that there was a no death mod in Skyrim where if your health got too low, you would black out, and your character would be teleported to a generic location of your choosing, and then you would choose whether your armor was damaged, health was decreased, and if all or some of your stuff was taken. But without mods, this could seem silly. I mean, could you imagine respawning after death and then having to just drop your gear and weapons on the ground and walk away from them as if you didn't just do that? Exactly. So until a mod like No Death is created, I feel like this idea of taking life seriously is going to be more of an honor system. Like, I won't go in guns blazing unless I'm very sure that I'll come out alive. I won't go on killing sprees. Hell, I'll even try to avoid killing enemies unless they shoot first. Basically, go as pacifist as I can, without going full pacifist. Okay, so here's an idea. After death, I would immediately leave the area and fast travel to the nearest medical facility in the galaxy, and set a limitation for myself to stay in that city for a few days to heal and rest. Could it be frustrating if I was extremely close to finishing a mission? Sure, but it also has the potential to make for an interesting story. So while resting in the city, it could actually give me the excuse to explore sections I hadn't seen before, or encounter NPCs I hadn't met prior. Basically, take in details that I might have missed earlier. And then, going back to that unfinished mission could end up feeling like a redemption or revenge arc in my roleplay adventure. Gearing up to go back alone would feel so much more significant. But that's all I have for now. Entering enemy facilities with extreme caution, avoiding conflict, and staying focused on low body counts when possible. If you have any clever ideas on this, I'd love to hear them. And last but not least, probably the one I'm looking the most forward to in terms of putting into action, and that's exploring with intention. Now, I'm generally one of those gamers that will show up to a new location and check out every single nook and cranny before I feel like I can move on. I think it's a bit of me being afraid that I might miss something interesting, or there are some serious levels of OCD embedded in my DNA, making me feel like if I haven't seen everything, well, then I'm not really completing the game, am I? When I'm able to take a step back and look at this style of gameplay, it's extremely unrealistic, and I'm ultimately setting myself up to feel overwhelmed. Here's an example. When you go to the grocery store, you're going there to get groceries. Okay, maybe you'll pick up some prescriptions at the pharmacy or a card for someone's birthday, but my point is, you're going to the grocery store to go to the grocery store. You don't then go next door to the gym, go into the locker room and start rummaging through everyone's lockers, then move over to the next building, which is a hair salon, and start talking to one of the stylists and offer to go get a new pair of scissors for her because her favorite pair just broke, then go next door again to the restaurant where the busboy has passed out and the manager needs someone to clean all the tables before they open, so you agree to help and end up walking away with a thank you gift card in return. I think you get my point. If it's your intention to go to the grocery store, you go to the grocery store and then continue your day as usual. Okay, so of course you could have had a full day planned at the strip mall where you were going to go to the gym, get a haircut, grab some lunch, and then get your groceries. Then I could see all these other things happening. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is that my plan is to explore with intentions that are focused. So, if my character is in a city to find work as a bounty hunter, I'm looking to speak with a person that would be able to provide those bounties. I would collect said bounty, maybe grab a drink or bite to eat, gear up, and head out to collect. I'm really trying to avoid doing that thing where I go into every single building, every single shop, and come out of there with an added quest item. Ultimately, I think doing this is actually going to make my playthrough feel a bit more realistic, and preventing myself from stacking quests is going to remove that overwhelming feeling of having a large to-do list. So, aside from these major ones, I'm really hoping Starfield has a survival mode where I need to rest to level up, eat, drink to stay alive, etc. These little added bits of detail are like the cherry on top for me when it comes to getting fully immersed in a game. And I know for some it's a chore. They want to fully escape reality. Whereas I'm looking for an experience that's so realistic that it feels like it's almost an alternate one, if that makes sense. Alright, well, if you're still here, I appreciate you hanging out and listening to me ramble. I know my tangents can be exhausting at times. Sorry about that. I will be playing Starfield when it comes out, so if you're interested in watching a playthrough that's similar to my current Skyrim run, be sure to subscribe. Oh, and one last thing. Why was the big cat disqualified from the race? Because it was a cheetah.